Hi everybody, it's Tamara from Prairie Town Girl here on Etc. Eyes, and I just started to edit this video and I realized I had somehow deleted this first step of this project. So I am just going to show you, I'm going to do things a little differently today. I'm going to show you what we're going to make. I ended up making two of these, but we're making a journal from boxes that you can just find in your kitchen. So this is the type of box that these are made out of. And the first step, of course, is just to open it up. And where's the side here? Here it is. Just like that. And then what I did was I painted my, well actually sorry, first thing I did was cut off all these tabs so that all you're left with is that part, actually like that. So I cut all those off and then I painted my box, and you can just use some acrylic paint. I used white. If you have gesso, go ahead and pull that out. I don't have that kind of thing, so I'm just using paint. So now where the video picks up is after I had let the paint dry, and then we get started on decorating and filling and all the rest of it to make these really pretty journals. So I hope you stay tuned and keep watching, and this is what we will be making. Okay, so my piece is all sort of covered. This side it's quite see-through, but that's okay because we're going to cover that up. So this is the sort of what I want to be the spine, but that I think that's too thick. So what I'm going to do is just cut that in half using my knife. You can do this before or after you paint it. And then I'm going to overlap. And I think that's a better size. And I will glue that, and then this little flap becomes my closure on the other side, I think. I don't know. That looks a little wide to me, so I might end up cutting that down. But for now, let's just get our spine together. So I want to use some fairly heavy duty glue here. So I've got my Beacon foam and poster board adhesive. This is just from Dollar Tree. Now, what did I say I was going to do here? I think that way. And I think I have a feeling I'm going to cover all of this up anyways. This is all sort of an experiment. And then just overlap. And I think what I might do, I don't know if I need to wait for that to dry. I think I can just go ahead with the next step. So my next step is to pull out my scraps, and I have a lot of scraps because I don't throw a lot out. And we're just going to start to sort of collage all over here. Let's see what I've got. Obviously, there is no wrong way to do this. You don't have to have a matching color theme. You don't have to have matching papers, you just can pull anything you want that sort of catches your eye. I seem to be leaning towards a certain theme though, all that being said. And you know what? I'm not going to plan it. I'm just going to do it. So I'm using Mod Podge. You can use whatever decoupage glue you like to use. And this is where using gesso would come in a little more handy than using paint on your base layer. Wetting the paint like this might sort of reactivate it, make it wet again, whereas gesso is more of a, creates like a texture or a protected barrier, I believe. But that's okay. Either one is fine. So basically, you just keep adding pieces and keep decoupaging until you are happy with what you've got. Just make a nice big collage. So I'll keep going. My battery's about to die on my camera, so I will keep going and I will come back and show you the end result. So this is what I've got so far. This is going to be sort of my base, and then I want to add something for a little bit of contrast and a little bit of a focal point as well. So I'm just going to add a couple of butterflies because for two reasons. Number one, I have a bajillion butterflies cut out. And secondly, butterflies are just so easy to work with. You can stick a butterfly on pretty much anything and suddenly it looks done. So there we go. There's a couple of butterflies. So I'm going to let that dry, and I have one more step that I want to do on the cover. At least one more step. So I'll be back once this is all dried. Okay, so it's pretty dry now, and while this was drying, I made this one, which is similar but a little bit different, where I just took strips and laid them all out, and now all I have to do is trim those off. I suppose I could just fold them over, but I'm going to trim those down, and this will be my other one. Before we work on that one though, I just want to add a couple more things on here. I want to use this new stencil that I got, and I want to use some new ink that I got. So this is a sort of a teal color, and I thought that would pick up these blues and the butterflies a little bit. So I don't have to do the whole stencil, of course. I'm just going to take a part of it and just sort of fill in these emptier areas. So I don't normally use a lot of color when I'm stamping. I usually stick to brown, but this is such a beautiful teal. I thought it would be fun to add it on here. And I'm just using a makeup sponge actually, because I bought a whole package of 8 inks. 8 of these came in a package, and that was only $5 at Michael's. But I didn't want to have to go and buy 8 ink dabbers, so I'm just using this sponge. Let's see how that looks. Well, that's pretty, I think. And then let's put another one down here. So the thing I've learned about stenciling is that you don't have to have it all one intensity. You can do some parts in the same design a little bit lighter, some darker, and that's what gives it character. You can take your design off the page a little bit. You can just have fun with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, I like that. And I think I'll just add, maybe I'll just add a little bit, one more flower up in here. Maybe one more. That's very different for me. Like I said, I don't normally get this crazy with color, which for most people you probably think that's not that crazy, but that's a lot of color for me. So let's wonder if we should put, let's just go crazy and we'll put a little bit more on the back. We'll go right over the designs of the collage. And this is why it's nice to leave a little space within your collage so you can see some of that white paint. I know you were probably thinking, why did she paint the base if she's just going to cover it all up? Well, if you leave a little bit of white space, then when you do some stenciling on top, it can bring it out a little bit better. And it can add some depth and dimension to your piece. So there we go, and I have something different planned for the spine, so don't worry, I haven't forgotten about it. We're just going to do something different. Now, the class that I was watching last weekend online, this is a little different than what she did. Allison Ordner, I think is her name. She does something called soul art, and she uses this sort of mixed media way of doing things to heal your soul, basically. And I will put a link to her YouTube below. And what she does next is she would put a sort of a whitewash over all of this, and I really like that look, and it sort of tones everything down. But this ink that I'm using is pigment ink. And I think that means that it's water-based, because it comes off, when I wash my hands and I wash my stencil, it comes off super easy. So I don't want to put anything wet on top of it, even once it's dry, because I have a feeling it would just smoosh it around everywhere. I might have to do a little bit more research into what inks do what, but I'm not going to take a chance. So for me, this is pretty much done, but I still need to do the inside and I need to do the spine. But before I do that, I'm just going to clean up this other one. This one, I have this little flap coming over to the front, and this would be the front, and that's the back. And on this one, I have it going more towards, well, it is towards the back. So, and so you can do it either way. I think what I'll do is, let's see here. We could do a little whitewash on this one. but I don't think I want to. I think I like all these papers, so I want to keep them the way they are. So I think what we need to do is something on the inside, and what I was thinking of doing is just getting the Mod Podge back out and using one of my napkins. That's the quickest and easiest thing to do, I think. So let's go find some napkins. So for this one, I think I'm going to use this because it'll sort of go with the blue theme. And then this one, I pulled this napkin out because it has this peachy color in it that sort of is throughout there. So this is the easy part, I think, hopefully. So I've already removed the 2 layers of white backing from this. And I'm just going to lay this out once I slop some Mod Podge on there. Good, and one napkin will pretty much do it. And I'm just going to put some paper down again so I don't get Mod Podge everywhere. Right to the edge with your glue, and just lay your napkin down. Now, of course, you don't have to limit yourself to one napkin or napkins at all. I just love using napkins with Mod Podge, though. It's such a nice effect when it works. I can see here I've got a little bubble. I need to add a bit more glue down. And on the other one, I think you'll see it'll be even more transparent because there's more lighter colors in it. And you can see there where I ripped it a little bit, but that's okay. That's an easy fix. Now I can do another layer of Mod Podge over top of this. I'm just going to do a super light sweep. I don't really think it needs it. But there we go. So I'm going to let that dry before I trim my edges and fix that little spot there. And while that's drying, I can just do this other one. So what I probably should do, so I don't think I mentioned, I had a little mishap here. The paint wasn't quite dry yet, and there was a big glompy bit of paint here, and something was on it, and when I pulled that thing off, it pulled a bunch of the paint off. So really what I should do is fix that and put some, oh yes, I'm going to have to fix that and put some paint down. Otherwise it's going to bug me, I think. So let's do that. If I didn't fix that, that darker blotch would show through on the napkin, so I will feel better now. But now I have to let that dry before I put some Mod Podge down. Okay, so once you have your piece on there, don't be afraid to give it a little bit of a bend at the spine so that it knows where to bend and it doesn't crack when it's dry. And now we just, oh, I just did another, I just ripped it again. So to fix that, I'll show you an easy, quick fix. Just take some of this extra napkin down here, rip it so that there's no like super straight edge. Dab a little more Mod Podge on, and then put it on the top as well, just to seal all those edges in. And this is such a busy pattern on this napkin, you'd have to really look for it to find it. There we go. Now I better put that aside and let it dry so I don't make any more rips in it. Okay, so the napkins are all dry, the Mod Podge is set, it's all good. But I think this is where I'm going to stop this video for today. And if you come back a couple of days from now, we will finish up the inside. We will fill the journal with some pages and pockets and fun things like that. And then we will do the spine. Yeah, so that is the plan. And so this gives you a chance, if you're crafting along with me, you can get your outside finished and come back and do the inside with me. So I hope that gets you started and gives you some fun ideas, and I will see you in a few days. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.